In the previous video, Young-jun spiced up his relationship with Secretary Kim. He started kissing her and opening her blouse, saying that he won't let the night go to waste. I'm Nina, and in today's recap we'll see what's wrong with Secretary Kim. However, the two stop what they were about to do, because President Park keeps calling the vice president and thinking it's an emergency. The man decides to answer. Young-jun goes to his office, and it turns out that Yoo-sik has called to tell him that a company that competes with theirs is trying to take a client that they had just signed a contract with, so the vice president needs to study a way to convince them to stay, and the next day the two of them will go to France for a meeting with this group. Meanwhile, Secretary Kim continued to drink wine alone in the living room, waiting for her lover. So when Young-jun returns to the living room, he finds Miso asleep, and no matter how hard he tried to wake her, she was in a deep sleep, so the man decides to take his beloved to bed and let her rest. The next day, Secretary Kim helps the vice president pack his suitcase for his business trip, and they take a photo of each other to keep on their cell phones so that when they miss each other, they'll have them to look at. The two will be separated for a week, and during this time, Young-jun has been working non-stop in France so that he can get back to his beloved as soon as possible. What's new at the office is that Gwinam has been promoted to work with them, and the man works hard to please everyone, sometimes too hard. The vice president came back early and surprised Miso by showing up unannounced at the company, but the man ended up getting jealous when he saw Gwinam and his beloved laughing. So in order to satisfy his longing for his secretary Kim, the two of them take a break from work, and when they return, GA calls Miso to let her in on some gossip. An intern, who had recently been hired at the company, was passing an establishment and ended up seeing the vice president with a woman. She even took a photo and sent it to GA. At this point, Secretary Kim was already nervous, but when she saw the photo, she realized that her face hadn't appeared, so she calmed down. However, GA continues to look at the picture and notices that the bracelet Miso is wearing is the same one the woman is wearing in the photo, and zooms in to see Secretary Kim's face in the reflection. GA soon goes to talk to Miso, who asks her to keep it a secret. And after work, while on his way home, Young-jun ends up saying, "I love you," to his secretary Kim. In the next scene, we see GA and Gwinam. She has invited the man to have dinner together to celebrate his promotion, and Gwinam ends up drinking a little, which makes him tell his story. He lives with the basics and in a cramped place, because when he was little, despite being the smartest at everything, he was always known for being a poor boy. So Gwinam decided that he didn't want that for his children and decided to save as much money as possible, so that when he gets married and has his little ones, he can provide for his family without any worries. The man also says that on his birthday, he will buy GA the same dinner, since she was the one who introduced him to the place and the delicious food. Returning to our main couple, Miso can't have her hot plans with Young-jun because she has to go to the hospital to be with her father. The man seems to have injured a ligament while performing with his band and will have to stay in hospital for a few days. The next day, we see Gwinam helping GA with a report she was working on. The man decided to do this as a way of thanking her for the night before. And Miso's older sister is going to swap the shift of staying with their father with Secretary Kim, but first they have lunch together, and the woman gives Miso some money she received from her dismissal from the old place where she worked, as she will now be going to a better one. The eldest also bought clothes for the youngest and explained that she is doing this because Miso was the one who took the most care of the family so that everyone could make their dreams come true, so it's time for her to return the favor. When she arrives at work, Secretary Kim receives an invitation from the vice president for them to leave the company and go to his house, to warm up their relationship, since they've been trying for a few days and there's always an obstacle. However, Miso's response is a little unexpected by the man. She says that he's been like a bulldozer these days, because he's always chasing her, non-stop. Young-jun was a little confused by this and decided to go to President Park to talk it over. Then his friend tells him that he shouldn't smother Miso, because it's her first time dating, and if he's always pushing her, one day she'll get tired of it. So when the vice president meets his secretary Kim again, he apologizes for the way he's been acting and says he'll control himself more. But when he gets home in the evening, the man finds his beloved waiting for him in front of the house and she says she wants to be by his side until dawn. So Young-jun says he won't be able to hold back and the woman sees no problem with that. In the end, they both do it. The next day, the couple go to lunch at the restaurant that Young-jun's childhood friend is opening. And I confess that these scenes made me angry, along with Miso. The woman is a bit inconvenient, saying that she thought the vice president even had a crush on her, because he asked them to get married when they were 5 and also kept asking him to open those glass containers with the lid sealed, adding that it makes her want to kiss him. Her friend also talked about how handsome Young-jun looks. Of course, Miso was jealous, because this childhood friend of hers doesn't seem to be much of a kisser. I'm on the team of women who are close to Secretary Kim. Later, the vice president takes his beloved to the hospital so that she can visit her father and the man didn't intend to meet him that day, but Miso's father catches the two of them together at the reception and tells them to go up to the room to talk. While they're talking, Young-jun decides it's time to tell the man that he's in a relationship with his daughter and Miso's father says he's against it. However, then the vice president has to take a call and the man tells his secretary Kim that he's actually pretending to be against it so that Young-jun will dedicate himself to winning him over. In the next scene, we see that the gossip that Miso and the vice president are together has spread, as someone else has spotted the couple and now everyone in the company knows. So there's no shortage of rumors about the two of them over the next few days, and one even leads to a fight between the employees in the bathroom. GA and Sara overheard two women saying that Secretary Kim had seduced the vice president, among other absurd things. So the two from the main office decide to get into a fight to defend Miso and the one who ends up breaking up the mess is Secretary Kim herself. The two don't regret defending Miso and she thanks them, but asks them not to spread the word, as she doesn't want Young-jun to get worried and take action that will make the others talk about them more and more. But the vice president finds out anyway, President Park telling him, and Young-jun's first reaction is to say that they don't deserve their salaries, but Yusik asks his friend to take Miso's feelings into consideration, as she was so upset by the whole situation that she tried to hide it from her lover. Then the vice president decides to invite his secretary Kim out for a walk, so she can relax. And the woman knows that her lover has planned this to cheer her up, so she says that she will continue to work hard, ignoring what others say, because when she started a relationship with the vice president, she knew that sooner or later, a situation like this would happen. The next day, other problems arise at the company, as a rival group seems to have copied a design for a collection of notebooks that Young-jun's company will be launching next month. Now the head office team will have to work hard to find a solution to this situation. And it's clear that the proactivity and agility of Secretary Kim is the key to this solution, as the crisis, which could have taken days to resolve, was brought under control in less than 24 hours, thanks to the woman's organization of her teams and dedication to the company. This makes Young-jun wonder if he will be able to find another person as competent as her, and at that moment, the woman decides to reveal what she wants to do, what her dream is. Miso wants to continue working at the company, because the adrenaline rush of solving these big problems and the feeling when they are solved is what makes her love this job. The woman ends up saying that she loves being at the vice president's side, and it's the first time she uses the three most expected words. Then the two of them go to Secretary Kim's house to have dinner together and she says she's always dreamed of it, cooking for her husband while enjoying each other's company. And Young-jun replies that he's going to make it real, because he wants to marry her and be her husband. Then the couple start kissing, when they are surprised by someone they didn't expect to be in the house. Miso's father gets up from her bed and says that he is against this marriage. What did you think of these episodes? I hope you enjoyed the summary. Leave your suggestions in the comments and subscribe. If you liked the video, like it and share it to help me. Until next time.